If you were kidnapped by terrorists and buried alive, could you survive? No, you can't, and in this video, I'm going to break down the brutal realities of the situation in the movie Buried and explain why, no matter what you try, the odds are stacked so heavily against you that escape is basically a pipe dream. Paul wakes up in a coffin with his mouth gagged and his hands tied. He's got a lighter, which lets him see for a bit, but every flicker burns through his precious oxygen supply way faster than necessary. Shutting it off might buy you a few extra minutes, but let's be real. Without knowing how long you've been out cold, you're already racing against an invisible clock. Panic sets in, and banging on the coffin or screaming, that's just going to accelerate your doom. You're buried by terrorists, not in some shallow backyard grave where a passerby might hear you. No one's coming. No good Samaritan is going to dig you up. Spotting a nail sticking out, he uses it to cut his restraints. He tries pushing on the lid and it doesn't budge. This means either the lid is nailed shut or there is too much sand on top of the coffin for it to be pushed open. A cell phone rings, your one shred of hope. He dials 911, but the operator is completely useless. Hanging up and calling family, they might be able to rally help, but time's ticking and coordination from the grave is a nightmare. He tries 411 for the FBI, but the signal drops mid-explanation. Spotty service in a buried box, shocking. He calls an emergency number his employer gave him, which gets him transferred to some HR drone named Alan Davenport. But he loses signal again, and he loses it.
Didn't know how else to call. Please, Fuck! Fuck!
I get it's frustrating, but yelling wastes air and energy he can't afford. He dials a number from the phone. It turns out that it's the terrorist demanding $5 million by 9 p.m. or he stays buried. He gets them to drop it to $1 million, so I guess that's a win. But you're a nobody contractor. No one's coughing up that kind of cash fast enough. He calls 411 again for a friend's number, Donna Mitchell, and it goes pretty well at first.
The number for me.
Don't fucking yell at me.
I'm not yelling at you, Donna.
Yes, you
No,
are.
I'm not. Just give me the fucking number. Give me the number. Give me the fucking number. Fuck!
He calls her back, and this time he gets her to tell him the number to the State Department. The State Department patches him to Dan Brenner, head of some hostage task force. Sounds promising, right? But during the call, the terrorists interrupt, demanding a video. He finds a bag with glow sticks, a flashlight, a knife, and a ransom note. At least now he can stop using up all his oxygen with that damn lighter. He calls Dan back, who tells him that they are having trouble tracking his phone because it's through an Egyptian carrier or something. That doesn't really make sense to me, but whatever. Paul gives Dan the terrorist number so he can track it. He then tells Paul to call him back in about 10 minutes. The terrorists send him a picture of a hostage with a gun pointed to her head, and that he has 3 minutes to make a video or she dies.
And I've been taken hostage somewhere in Iraq. I need $1 million by 9 o'clock tonight, Baghdad time, or I'll be left to die here in this coffin.
After sending the video, he dozes off, and when he wakes up, he's greeted by a not-so-friendly visitor. This brings both good and bad news. The bad news is that this snake is most likely a desert cobra. It's the only black snake that's found in Iraq, and it's very venomous. The good news is, if a snake found its way into his coffin, then he can't be buried more than a couple of feet down. He does manage to light a fire, and it scares the snake off without it biting him, but I imagine a fire that size would have burned through a lot of his remaining oxygen. After this, the terrorist sends him another video. Looks like he should not have sent that video. He calls Dan back, and in the middle of their conversation, a bomb goes off in a nearby area, causing the lid of the coffin to crack and sand starts leaking in. He manages to stop it from leaking in when he gets a call from a guy named Alan Davenport, who basically tells him his family is not going to receive any insurance money after his death. He should make a video calling them out for screwing over his family and send it to every media outlet. Instead, he pretty much just lets the sand pour on top of him while he makes a goodbye video for his family.
I love you very much, Shane.
After this, he shuts off the light and accepts his fate. Unfortunately for him, the bombs from earlier did not kill the terrorists, who calls him and tells him to send a video of him cutting off his finger or he will find his family and kill them. Obviously, he should not do this. It would make digging his way out of here that much harder, but out of fear for his family, he does end up cutting his finger off. As he is lying there with no hope left, he gets a call from Dan saying they captured an insurgent and he's going to lead them to his location. They are racing to dig him out before the sand fills his coffin.
Hurry! Hurry! Stop your hand, please! Hurry!
Oh, God.
What?
Oh, my God.
What?
I'm so sorry, Paul.
What is
So sorry.
What is it?
It's Mark White.
Well, that's a pretty shitty way to go out. Let's rewind a bit and see if he could have done something different to make it out of here. Back when the bomb went off and cracked the lid, you might think that this was his salvation. Mythbusters did an episode where they tested to see if someone could dig their way out of a coffin. It turns out cracking the lid open is completely impossible. They used a robot to punch it 600 times at the strength of a professional fighter, and it did not work. So you might think that them dropping the bombs and doing that job for him would have saved his life, but you would be wrong. In the Mythbusters episode, he did manage to escape being buried with only 2 feet of dirt on top of him, but he had on an anti-compression vest, which makes it so the dirt won't compress his lungs so he can't breathe. He also had on a respirator with oxygen, and they had a perfectly cut square hole in the coffin, and he still had a pretty hard time getting out. So our friend Paul here has quite the uphill battle on his hand. I should also mention that we do not know how deep he is buried. The snake would suggest that he is not buried too deep, but in the Mythbusters episode, as soon as they opened the lid on the 2 feet of dirt attempt, there was light showing through, and in the movie there was none, and quite a bit of sand had made its way in, so he is probably buried deeper than 2 feet. I should add, in the Mythbusters episode, they also tried it with 6 feet of dirt, and even with the ideal setup they had, it was still completely impossible. So at the end of the day, even if Paul had remained calm and tried to dig his way out, he was still completely screwed. Let me know why you think you would die down below, and if you enjoyed this video, check out another. And remember, never count on anyone, especially the government, to save you.